"You think you are poor because you have no money," the stranger said at the door, voice calm but cutting. "But yesterday, you proved you are rich where it counts. And that is why your life is about to change." Malik stood frozen in the doorway, one hand gripping the chipped wood like it could hold him up. He was 12, skinny, quiet, and used to adults speaking over him like he was air. The apartment behind him smelled like soap, old rice, and the weak warmth of a heater that never worked right. His mother stepped close behind him, hair still damp from her overnight shift, eyes sharp with worry. A stranger on your porch in their neighborhood was never a simple thing. The man outside did not look like trouble. He looked like purpose. Neat coat, clean shoes, a folder held tight under one arm like it mattered. His eyes were steady, not soft, not cold, but focused the way people look when they already know the truth. And they are not here to play games. Malik's stomach tightened. For a second, he thought about closing the door. He thought about how quickly the world turns kind moments into mistakes. He thought about last night, how he went to bed hungry and told himself it was normal. The stranger spoke again, quieter now, but somehow heavier. "I am looking for the boy who gave his meal away yesterday. If that was you, do not lie to me. Do not hide. Stand up." Malik swallowed and nodded once. "It was me." The man's eyes held Malik for a long moment, like he was reading something deeper than a face. Then he exhaled slowly, as if he had been carrying tension all night and could finally set it down. "Good," he said, "because my parents have not stopped talking about you, and what you did has already moved farther than you can imagine." Malik's mother stepped forward, protective voice tight. "Who are you, and why are you here?" The man turned to her with respect. He did not speak to her like she was small. He spoke to her like she was someone who had carried weight for too long. "My name is Daniel Harris," he said. "Yesterday, your son fed my parents at the bus stop. I came to thank him. And I came to do something my parents insisted on because they said a boy like that should not be left alone in a hard world." Malik's chest tightened at the words. The bus stop. The old couple. His mind ran backward to yesterday like it was a film he could not pause. It had been one of those gray afternoons where the wind scraped at your skin and the clouds sat, although like they were tired too. Malik walked home from school with his backpack pulling on his shoulders. His lunch was still inside. A sandwich, an apple, a small juice. The school gave it to him because of a program for kids who needed help. Malik did not talk about that program. He did not talk about needing help. Pride was the one thing he still owned, and he guarded it like treasure. He had planned to save the meal for later. For his mother. For the night when she would come home exhausted and apologize. For not cooking, even though she should not have had to apologize for surviving. Malik had learned to eat small so his mother could eat enough. He never made a show of it. He just did it. On the sidewalk near the bus stop, he saw the elderly couple sitting on a bench. They were not loud. They were not begging. That was what made it worse. The man's coat was too thin. His hand shook as he tried to open a packet of crackers with stiff fingers. The woman leaned close, speaking softly. Her voice gentle like she had been caring for him for a lifetime. People walked past them like they were a stain on the city. One woman glanced and looked away fast. A man stepped around them without slowing. A group of teenagers laughed at something and brushed by, shoulder bumping the bench like it was nothing. Malik slowed. His first thought was to keep walking. His second thought was his mother. His third thought was a memory that always came when money was tight. His mother once told him, in a voice that tried to sound casual, that the world will take your dignity if you let it, but nobody can take your kindness unless you hand it over. Malik looked at the old couple again. The woman lifted her eyes and met his gaze. She smiled. Not a smile that asked for pity. A smile that thanked him for seeing them as human. Malik's throat tightened. He pulled the lunch from his backpack and walked up to them, heart pounding like he was doing something dangerous. "You can have this," he said. Holding it out quickly before he could change his mind, the old man looked up, startled, eyes wide and watery. The woman's hand rose to her chest, her face trembling like she was trying not to cry. "Sweet boy," she whispered. Are you sure? Malik nodded and forced the lie out of his mouth. The woman's fingers closed around the bag carefully like it was fragile. The old man's lips moved, trying to speak, but his voice shook. He managed a thank you that came out rough with emotion. Malik did not stay. He could not. Kindness felt too exposed. He turned and walked away, his stomach empty, his cheeks burning, his heart beating hard. He told himself he was fine. That night, he drank water and stared at the ceiling. Hunger sat in his belly like a stone. He listened for his mother's key in the lock. When she came home, she moved quietly, trying not to wake him. Malik pretended to sleep so she would not worry. He fell asleep thinking about the old man's shaking hands and the woman's smile that looked like relief. He did not know that across town, that elderly couple went home and told their son about the boy who gave away his only meal. Daniel Harris looked at Malik now, standing in the doorway, and his voice softened without becoming weak. "My father is proud," Daniel said. "He hates asking for help. My mother has been worried about him for months. Yesterday was the first day I saw light in her eyes again. Do you understand what you gave them?" Malik stared at the floor. His voice came out small. Food. Daniel shook his head slowly. "No, you gave them proof that people still care. You gave them dignity." Malik's mother's eyes filled. She tried to blink it away, but the tears came anyway. She was not used to strangers showing up to honor her son. She was used to bills. Bad news, rejection letters, late fees. The hard normal. Daniel opened the folder and held it out to her, careful and respectful. "Please read this," he said. Malik watched his mother's hands tremble as she took the papers. Her eyes moved across the page. She inhaled sharply. She looked up like she thought she was dreaming. It was help. Real help. Rent assistance. Grocery support. A new winter coat for Malik. School supplies. A scholarship fund placed in trust for his education. A note attached in simple language that said this was not a loan and not a trap. It was a gift chosen with intention. Malik's mother's lips parted. Her voice shook. "Why would you do this for us?" Daniel's eyes returned to Malik. His answer was steady, like a truth he had decided to live by, because kindness should not be punished with hunger, because a boy who gives when he has little deserves to be protected, and because my parents taught me something I forgot until yesterday. He paused, then said the line that felt like it could travel across the internet and stick in a million hearts. "A full hand means nothing." If it is a closed hand, Malik's chest tightened. He felt embarrassed and proud at the same time, like he did not know where to place the feeling. His mother covered her mouth with her hand. A small sound escaped her, half laugh, half sob. She had been strong for so long that even relief felt unfamiliar. Daniel looked at Malik again. "I am not here to make you feel small," he said. "I am here to make sure you do not get crushed for being good." Malik's voice finally rose, shaky but honest. "I did not do it for this." Daniel nodded. "That is exactly why it matters." The next days moved fast, but not loud. Quiet changes. The kind that slowly lift a ceiling off your chest. Malik's mother slept one full night without waking up in panic. Their fridge stayed full longer than 2 days. Malik got new shoes that did not hurt his feet. He walked into school with his head a little higher, not because he was better than anyone, but because he was no longer carrying shame that never belonged to him. Malik could not stop thinking about the old couple, not as a reward, but as a connection. So Daniel arranged a visit. They met in a small park on a bright afternoon. The air smelled like grass and warm bread from a nearby cart. The elderly couple sat on a bench. This time they looked cleaner, calmer, safer. The old man wore a thick coat. The woman's eyes were still gentle, but now they held joy too. When Malik approached, the woman stood and hugged him carefully, like she was afraid to squeeze too hard. "You saved our day," she whispered. Malik shook his head quickly. "I just gave you my lunch." The old man leaned forward, his voice rough, eyes wet. "Son, there are people who walk past suffering every day and never feel a thing. You felt something, and you acted. That is rare. The woman nodded and added another line that felt like it could live forever. The world changes when the smallest person refuses to look away. Malik swallowed. He glanced at his mother, who stood nearby wiping tears. Smiling through them, Daniel watched quietly. A man who had seen wealth and money before and now recognized wealth and character. Before they left, the old man placed a hand on Malik's shoulder. Warm and steady. "One day you will have more than meals to give," he said. "Promise me you will keep the same heart." Malik nodded. "I promise." On the walk home, Malik felt the city differently. The same cracked sidewalks. The same buses groaning at stops. The same rush of people. But now he knew something others forget.